My husband Ian, who is a creative director, we started the company around 2000s. When we started Limelight, we weren't planning on having a major production company. We were just planning on making some films. A lot of our commercial work is about making a difference to people's lives, and so we really enjoy doing that type of work. Just because someone's got a camera doesn't mean they're a filmmaker. Same as lots of people have a canvas and paints, but are they an artist? So many people have cameras and they go out and they film, and it doesn't mean you've got to film, and it doesn't mean they're storytellers. It doesn't mean they're good at what they do. I really enjoy having the luxury of being able to work in two completely separate industries. So in the medical field, it tends to be a very secure industry to work in. I know there's a very secure income. It's quite challenging in some areas. If I make mistakes in that world, then people can die, or people can, I can miss something major and it has very bad, terrible effects on their life. The thing that I can do in the creative industries is I can be an entrepreneur. I can follow up ideas and take risks. And if I take a risk and I stuff up, well, what happens? I lose money. I mean, that's not what I want to do, but it's not going to, I won't lose huge amounts of sleep at night because I haven't wrecked someone's life, but it's completely different. I'm a GP. I tell people all the time about getting the balance right. I'm lecturing people all the time about don't spend too much time at work. Get enough exercise, look after your own health. And we do a lot of work in mental health. We're talking to the experts all the time that are talking about looking after your own mental health, all those things. I mean, you have one life to lead, and you want to make sure that if you're spending a lot of time at work, it's enjoyable time. So I talk one-on-one with people all day in my medicine, and I help them make changes, and I mean, I love what I do there, and it's really rewarding. But often I find it frustrating that I can't give a lot of information to lots of people quickly, and so through the filmmaking, I can actually bring what I know from my medicine into the films that we make. So I can get messages across that I wouldn't be to a lot more people that I just don't have the time to do on a one-to-one basis. As you become commercially more successful, that can leave less time to spend on independent projects, and obviously, as a business, you need to have an income, and when you've got a family, you need to, think about how you live. I mean, if we're offered work in an area we're not particularly interested in or passionate about, then that becomes much more work and less enjoyable. But when you're making films about things that do make a difference to other people's lives, or that you're passionate about, or that you are interested in, then it's not nearly as hard work. It's enjoyable, and so we want to stick with the things we enjoy doing. And when you expand and have a lot more people working for you, then you tend to spend a lot more of your day doing business management type activities, and a lot less of your day doing the actual filmmaking yourself. A lot of businesses have changed their structure in the creative arts to make themselves less vulnerable. That's why you'll find a lot of them in Sydney like to fly very low to the ground and not have any full-time staff. They just freelance everybody. Job by job basis, and that means if you haven't got a job, there's no work, and so that stops them being vulnerable. However, if you haven't got the luxury of a huge pool of freelancers, then it's very hard to work that way. So you just have to find the balance between not being too vulnerable to the changes in the economy, but being flexible enough to be able to have the right people available when you need them. So one of the disadvantages with having a production company in Newcastle is you don't have such a large pool of skilled freelancers that you can call upon. I mean, we have a number of freelancers that we work with and they're fantastic, but you know, if you've got a job that's on that needs to be done, you need to know that you can get somebody when you need to, and so if they're already booked, then you can get stuck. So one of the things we've done to deal with that is to upskill our permanent staff here, so that if we've got jobs that need to be done, we know we can definitely get them done. So you know, we know we can have 3 separate crews out on the same day, filming 3 different jobs, and we have the people that can do it. We've had to do things differently because we are in Newcastle rather than a major city. The sort of business that it is, you don't tend to say no to any jobs that come along, and so you can have a real variation in workload. The workload can be quite full on for a few weeks, and then it can be a lot quieter for a few weeks, or you know, it can vary quite dramatically and quite quickly. I mean, I think builders sometimes seem to understand what we do, because they'll be given a house to do, or they'll be given a project to do, and if they've got their own business, like you'll be offered a number of projects, and you go, yeah, okay, I will try and fit that in, and if you say no to something, then something gets put off, you're left with nothing, and you don't want to say no to certain jobs and miss out on them because someone else has put their other job off. You know, it's juggling the different work can be challenging. One of the things in the creative arts that you need to always be aware of is that it's a very fickle industry. There can be a lot of work around today, but as we saw with the GFC, that stopped in a day. And when the economy goes down, then you'll find that most businesses think that doing anything to do with advertising or anything to do with the creative arts is a luxury item and not needed anymore. Like you're asking, why don't you grow? I think that's where, if we went to the next level, where you do have marketing people that go out and try and source work all the time, you do have a business person that looks over everyone's shoulder and makes sure that they're, you know, ticking their timesheets perfectly and doing all those little bits and pieces. So there's a lot of business management stuff that you can do if you're much bigger. But again, do you want to get that big? So there's competing interests all the time.